JFK Assassination, the 2025 files finally revealed. For over 60 years, the assassination of President John F. Kennedy has haunted the American conscience. Conspiracy theories abound, and the truth remains elusive. The grassy knoll, the magic bullet, the lone gunman. These are just some of the enduring mysteries surrounding the assassination of President John F. Kennedy. Now, in 2025, the final classified files have been revealed. But do they change history? Today, we break down what these documents reveal, what remains unanswered, and why some people are still skeptical. The assassination of President John F. Kennedy in November 1963 remains a pivotal and deeply scrutinized event in American history. For over 6 decades, the circumstances surrounding his death have captivated public imagination, giving rise to countless theories and debates that extend far beyond the official findings of government investigations. The federal government has, over the years, undertaken measures to declassify and release documents related to the assassination. Landmark legislation, such as the President John F. Kennedy Assassination Records Collection Act of 1992, mandated the eventual opening of all assassination-related documents housed within the National Archives and Records Administration. This act aimed to shed new light on the tragic event and potentially restore public confidence in the government's handling of the investigation and its aftermath. The legislation stipulated that all documents should be released by 2017, contingent upon any exemptions deemed necessary by the President. But why did it take until 2025 to release them all? The year 2025 witnessed a significant moment in this ongoing process with the release of all previously withheld records that were part of the President John F. Kennedy Assassination Records collection. This action was prompted by a directive from President Donald Trump on March 17, 2025.
Lastly, sir, we have an executive order ordering the declassification of files relating to the assassinations of President John F. Kennedy, Senator Robert F. Kennedy, and the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.
That's a big one, huh? A lot of people are waiting for this for years.
The fact that this release occurred so many years after the initial mandate suggests that significant bureaucratic or political considerations may have previously hindered the full disclosure of this information. The primary significance of the 2025 JFK files release lies not in the emergence of entirely new documents, but rather in the unveiling of previously redacted information within existing records. This increased transparency contributes to a deeper understanding of the Cold War context in which the assassination occurred and may gradually foster greater public trust in the government's handling of this sensitive historical matter. Over 3 days in March 2025, a flood of information was released, totaling over 77,000 pages across 2,343 PDF files. These records were made available to the public in 3 distinct batches on March 18th and March 20th, 2025, bringing the total pages released on the JFK assassination to over 80,000. The initial reactions to this significant document dump from researchers and scholars were varied. Concerns were raised about the lack of a comprehensive index or a user-friendly search tool, which could make the process of sifting through such a large collection of documents challenging and time-consuming. Imagine sifting through 77,000 pages of documents manually. That's the challenge researchers faced. Furthermore, the decision to release the documents without redactions, while intended to maximize transparency, led to the inclusion of sensitive personal identification information of living individuals, such as Social Security numbers. The inclusion of material generated after the 1960s also caused some confusion and frustration among researchers focused specifically on the events surrounding the assassination. A prominent theme emerging from the analysis of the 2025 document release is the significant focus on the activities of the Central Intelligence Agency, CIA, during the Cold War era. Numerous documents within the released collection pertain to the CIA's secretive operations, providing researchers with previously redacted or entirely unavailable details about the agency's scope, personnel, and operational methods. This lifting of the veil on the CIA's covert actions represents a potentially rich area for historical inquiry. Within this focus on the CIA, the unredacted documents shed further light on Operation Mongoose, a top-secret campaign orchestrated by the U.S. intelligence agency to destabilize the communist government of Cuba. This operation, historically linked to discussions about potential motives and actors involved in the JFK assassination, is now documented in greater detail, potentially offering a more complete understanding of the U.S. government's efforts against Cuba during Kennedy's presidency. Another significant revelation pertains to the extensive use of CIA agents operating under diplomatic cover within U.S. embassies around the world. The unredacted documents confirm and provide specific figures on the scale of this practice. For instance, a top-secret memorandum from White House aide Arthur Schlesinger, Jr. on CIA reorganization, fully declassified for the first time, reported that on the day of President Kennedy's inauguration in January 1961, approximately 47% of the political officers serving in United States embassies were actually CIA intelligence agents working under diplomatic cover, known as Controlled American Sources, CAS. The memo further detailed that in the U.S. Embassy in Paris, 123 individuals posing as diplomats were in fact undercover CIA agents, and in Chile, 11 out of the 13 embassy political officers were CIA operatives. Schlesinger himself expressed concern that this widespread practice could potentially undermine the State Department's role in the formulation and execution of foreign policy. The documents also include the CIA's infamous Family Jewels series. These internal CIA records detailed instances of activities that exceeded the agency's charter. A key document from this collection describes a CIA counter-espionage operation against the French embassy in Washington, D.C., which involved breaking and entering and the removal of documents from the French consulate. The inclusion of these sensitive internal records could reveal instances of past CIA misconduct, potentially fueling further scrutiny of the agency's role and activities during the Kennedy era. Most importantly, the released documents contain significant information pertaining to Lee Harvey Oswald, the man identified as President Kennedy's assassin. Notably, some documents include assessments from the Soviet intelligence agency, the KGB, regarding Oswald. One memo describes how a KGB official named Nikonov reviewed 5 thick volumes of files on Oswald and expressed confidence that Oswald was, at no time, an agent controlled by the KGB. This corroborates previous findings that Oswald was not directly affiliated with or controlled by the Soviet Union. Further details from the KGB assessment indicate that Oswald was watched closely and constantly while in the USSR, and that he was a poor shot when he attempted target firing in the Soviet Union. The question that needs to be asked here is, how did they know he was a poor shot? Was he being watched? Did he apply to work with the KGB? This is some information that may never come to light. Oswald's activities in Mexico City in the months leading up to the assassination have long been a subject of intense scrutiny. The 2025 release appears to contain more detailed information regarding his interactions with Soviet and Cuban officials during this period. One file dated February 3, 1968, titled Mexico City Chronology, specifically addresses Oswald's time in Mexico and his contact with the embassy of the Soviet Union. A memo dated the day after Kennedy's assassination mentions an intercepted phone call in Mexico City, indicating that Oswald communicated with a KGB officer while at the Soviet embassy in September 1963. As more of the files and pages are analyzed, more information may come to the forefront on the movement and contact that Oswald had whilst in Mexico City with Soviet officials and the Soviet embassy. Until that analysis has been completed, more questions than answers will remain. There is also a potential risk of individuals selectively interpreting documents to fit pre-existing theories, particularly given the long history of intense speculation surrounding the JFK assassination. The National Archives, while aiming for maximum transparency, did not provide explicit interpretive guidance on the release page itself regarding the assassination-related content. However, the website does provide access to previous comprehensive reports, such as the Warren Commission Report, the House Select Committee on Assassinations Report, and the Assassination Records Review Board Report. These existing resources offer crucial context and should be considered alongside the newly released documents for a comprehensive understanding of the available evidence. The release in 2025 of the final documents of previously withheld JFK assassination records marks a significant milestone in the decades-long effort to bring transparency to this pivotal moment in American history. The analysis of these documents reveals a substantial focus on the CIA's extensive clandestine operations during the Cold War, offering unprecedented detail about the agency's activities, personnel, and expenditures. While the release has not produced evidence to validate major conspiracy theories surrounding President Kennedy's assassination, it provides a richer and more complete historical record that reinforces the existing understanding of the events. Does the truth about the JFK assassination truly lie within these documents? Or will the mystery continue to fascinate and haunt us for generations to come? The 2025 release, however, provides an invaluable resource for ongoing research and analysis, offering a more detailed and uncensored glimpse into the past. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe for more topics explained fast.